Liverpool 7, Manchester United 0, and wow, I think even some of the most optimistic Liverpool fans would not have predicted a score quite by that margin. Liverpool obliterated Manchester United at Anfield, so let's talk about it. As always, let me know your thoughts on the match in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to hear it. And if you're new around here and you love football related content, this is a place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below on my road to 2,000 subscribers. I mean, what can I say? I thought this was going to be a brilliant type of match to watch. It was a brilliant match in many facets, but I thought it'd be much closer. We've got in-form Manchester United fresh off winning the Carabao Cup in all 4 competitions, firing on all cylinders against Liverpool, who, let's be honest, have picked up their form recently, but still look a jaded team, a shell of the team we've seen in previous seasons. And at Anfield, we know it'd be a rocking atmosphere. And for the first 40 minutes, it was a really good match. Evenly contested by both sides, Liverpool having some good chances, Manchester United looking dangerous on the counter. But when Liverpool scored that first goal through Cody Gakpo, Manchester United completely and utterly capitulated. Folded like a house of cards, and it was very unprofessional the way they did that, man. I thought this team had character. I've spoken about how they brought in Casemiro, Varane. They've got winners in that team, players that have shown character in recent weeks. Even when they were 1-0 down to West Ham, they got themselves back in the game. But today, not by any stretch of the imagination. Liverpool went 1-0 up, and then they just continued to push further, and Man United had no response whatsoever. Completely folded, showed no character, no resilience, and they were shipping goals for fun. I mean, every time Liverpool went forward, they looked like scoring. The goal must have been as big as the Kop for Liverpool, it felt like. Honestly, David De Gea, I don't know what he was defending, man. There was no point in him being in goal. Every time they shot, it went in the back of the net. Crazy scenes. We've got Salah, who's broken the record for Liverpool's top goal scorer in the Premier League now, so congratulations to him. He had a brilliant game. Gakpo was on the score sheet. Nunes was on the score sheet. I mean, talk about a game to give all your players confidence, man. Bloody hell, I couldn't believe it. That second half, Liverpool completely blew them out of the water. So let's talk about Liverpool, because this season, we don't have to say anything different other than the fact that it's not been the same Liverpool we've been used to in recent seasons. The past 5 seasons, they've been untouchable. Them alongside Man City have been a class above the rest. But this season, they've taken a fall off. I mean, you can blame them a lot of things. Injuries, midfield, the same team, aging. It's accumulation of factors. The fact of the matter is, it's not the same team from a few seasons back. Even last season, to be honest. But this season, this game, they proved the doubters. They proved a lot of doubters wrong, because they scored 7 and they beat Man United 7-0 convincingly. This was more convincing than last year when they beat them 5-0 at Old Trafford. This was a complete whitewash. And the team was clicking from back to front, man. And it just goes to show that Liverpool, despite the fact they've not been on top form, they still have a quality team. They still have quality players, and they still are going to be in and around the hunt for top 4 and potentially kick on next season, try and go back to challenging for the league title, because you don't win a game 7-0 if you're not good. The two biggest win in terms of margin this season have both come by Liverpool. Beating Bournemouth 9-0, who by the way gave Arsenal a hell of a game yesterday, and now Manchester United 7-0. That's not a fluke. That's not a fugazi. Liverpool are still a decent team. They just haven't been consistent enough, and their midfield's getting outrun. But today, that was no problem. They stood up man for man and were counted. And that first goal gave them a hell of a lot of confidence, man. Just before half-time, Cody Gakpo getting on the score sheet. Brilliant finish as well, because Man United were actually starting to take a foothold into the match. But Andy Robertson won it high, played it through to Gakpo, cut inside of Varane and into the far corner. Brilliant goal. And then when they scored to make it 2-0 through Nunes early in the second half, I mean, Manchester United, we saw them fold against Brentford early in the season. That was their second game. I thought this team had character, man, but they did not display that whatsoever. For Man United now, look, is losing 7-0 terrible? 100%. I'm not going to paper over any cracks. 7-0 loss is horrendous. For the fans, for everyone involved, you do not want to lose 7-0. It goes down in the history books. But if there's ever a silver lining for that football club, look, whether you lose 1-0 or 7-0, you've lost the game. It's not like, apart from your goal difference taking a hit, there's no actual anything else. It's not like you lose 6 points if you lose 7-0. Do you get what I mean? Like, they've lost 3 points, that's it. It's all about how they respond now. Because a lot of people will lose at Anfield. You're not the only team. Man City already lost at Anfield. Arsenal still got to go to Anfield to play. It's one of those things. They just need to respond now. They're still having a great season. They're still in the FA Cup. They've won the Carabao Cup already. They've got the Europa League game on Thursday that they need to respond there. I believe they've got Betis in the Europa League. They're still in a title hunt, despite what people say they still are. There's still 12 games left or so. I think they've actually got 13 games left. It's still only 11 points. They're still mathematically by far in it. And Arsenal still got to go to City. So they just need to respond. I know they're going to feel like rock bottom right now. I know that it's going to feel like they're in the bedrock. But it's happened to them already this season at Brentford. It's happened now against Liverpool. It's how you respond, man. Because if you lose this game, then go on to lose in the Europa League. Then go on to lose on the weekend as well. that's when you start to have the hangover. That's when it's not 3 points lost, it's 7, 9 points lost. Kind of like what happened to Arsenal. They lost to Man City in the FA Cup, then they lost 3 games in a row. Oh, sorry, they lost 2 and drew 1 in a row. That's what it can't be like. You stop the rut now. The next game, they go and they respond. And they prove that they are a team that's got character. Because this can happen. Look, Arsenal go to Anfield in April. This could happen to Arsenal. I would not be surprised if they lose. I'm not saying they're going to lose 7-0. But if they lose like 2-3-0 maybe. And they get demolished by Liverpool. Not necessarily in the scoreline, but in terms of outplayed by Liverpool. It can happen. It's Anfield. Things like that happen, man. It's a stadium like Barcelona. Obviously, they lost 4-0 at Anfield when they were beaten 3-0 in the first leg. It's one of those stadiums. Anything can happen. It's all about how you respond to it. That's kind of like why I don't like playing Liverpool early in the season, because it could actually kind of like offset your season, ruin your season a little bit when you go there and get demolished. But it is one of those things. United have to come back from it now. But for Liverpool, I mean, my days, were any of their fans thinking they're going to win this much? I was going to it and thinking, you know what, at home, Liverpool, I think they've got a good chance at home against Manchester United. I think at Anfield, it's the biggest derby for them alongside Everton. I think they'll do right. I think they'll beat United. But I did not by any stretch of imagination think they'd win 7-0. I think it'd be a 1-goal margin at most for Liverpool. Maybe a 3-1 if it was 2-1 and United were attacking. They maybe got a third one on the counter. But boy, oh boy, this is just a complete whitewash for them. Liverpool now top 4. That's got to be their hopes. They're looking good for it. I'll be real, because who are their competition? Tottenham, they lost again yesterday. They're a Jekyll and Hyde team. Newcastle, since the World Cup, are completely falling apart. They can't seem to buy a win. They're drawing and then they're losing. I mean, Liverpool already beaten them twice now this season. Their closest challenger, maybe Brighton, have looked decent this season, but do we really expect Brighton to get Champions League football? I'd more be in Liverpool's camp, to be honest. Fulham probably won't get it. Brentford won't get it. Chelsea in complete disarray. Liverpool, by hook or by crook, despite losing multiple games this season, despite getting absolutely trounced by Brighton and Wolves earlier after the World Cup, they still might get top 4 because the other teams around them are just not performing. So for them, that's got to be their aim. If Liverpool get top 4, you got to say it's a recovery race. Like F1 happened today, earlier the season kicked off. One of them ones where you're 20th on the grid is a recovery race. Like you're not going to win it, but you get points. Like you finish maybe 4th, 5th. Not quite a podium, but you get some points. A good recovery race. That's what this season is for Liverpool right now. They're not going to win the league. They're not going to challenge, but you just got to recover. Finish Champions League, make some good signings, and you say this one of those seasons is a blip season. We can go on and we can try and challenge for the league title again from next season. That would be my mindset for Liverpool Football Club. For Manchester United, on the other hand, it's one of those games. You just got to put it down as one of those games at Anfield. It will hurt. I'm an Arsenal fan. I remember losing 8-2 at Old Trafford. It hurts. It will hurt bad, and you'll get teased, and you'll get all these Liverpool fans bantering you. You'll get rival fans bantering you. It's one of those things, man. You just got to put it in the past. You get behind it. United got a lot to play for this season. You just can't let this game have a relapse effect on you in the games to come. There's still a hell of a lot of football to play for Manchester United. There's still a lot of optimism around them, and the trajectory is on the up. They've got a great manager in ERIK HAG. I'm sure he will galvanise that squad and tell them, look, it's not good enough. Very unprofessional, and he will get behind them, I'm sure. Because players like Bruno Fernandes in that second half, walking, man. Walking. They lost their heads completely. Luke Shaw losing his head as well, man. Like the whole Man United team, completely heads gone. By 3-0, 4-0, they weren't even trying anymore. Like there was not a single Manchester United player that deserves more than a 2 out of 10 in the player ratings. Let's be completely honest. None of them even tried. One bit. When it was a 3-4-0, heads down. Marcus Rashford as well, a shadow of himself. Had a few chances in that first half, even a couple in the second half, but the game was kind of out of sight by then. Did not put them away, man. It's one of those things. But, look, there's still a lot to be optimistic for with Manchester United. They've obviously in the summer, I hope they're probably going to sign a striker maybe. Because Weghorst, we all know, look, he's done well linking up the play, but he's a stopgap player. He's a plan B striker. He's not someone that can lead the line for a team that wants to challenge for the Premier League title. But it's one of those things, they've got him for now, they've got to deal with him. But in the summer, they need to sign a top striker. The likes of Victor Osimhen is on the market, potentially from Napoli. He'll be a great player for them. But it's one of those games that they've got to keep fighting. They've got a lot to play for. I still think United are technically still in the title race. I think they do need to trim the gap, and I do think it would have really helped if Arsenal did drop points to Bournemouth yesterday. But it's one of those things, they just got to respond, and that's the main thing for them. As always, let me know your thoughts match in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely love to hear it. Do you think Liverpool will get top 4? Where do you think United will finish? I'd really love to hear it down in the comment section. If you're new and you love football related content, this is the place to be. Make sure you subscribe down below. My road to 2,000 subscribers. I'll be my football to see you all in my next video.